Well, there certainly has been an erosion of trust, but that trust that has been eroded is between Justin Trudeau and the Canadian people. He has spent the last 4 weeks trying to cover up for his actions and the actions of those around him. Very serious incidents of corruption and politically interfering in an independent criminal court case. Nothing I heard this morning leads me to believe that he's taking any personal responsibility on this. He continues to blame other people, everybody but himself. Still hasn't answered the very serious points that have been put to him about why he used partisan electoral justifications for that pressure, why he and his staff continued to put pressure on Ms. Wilson-Raybould long after she asked them to stop. So I believe this was another example of Justin Trudeau, a failure of him to show leadership. This is a Prime Minister that clearly doesn't know the difference between right and wrong, has to get outside independent advice to tell him where the Liberal Party of Canada stops and the Government of Canada starts. He's still talking about the justification of interfering in a court case based on partisan political purposes. So again, we've seen this government completely ground to a halt for the past few weeks now. I continue to believe that we need an RCMP investigation to determine if legal lines were crossed here. It is true. I did have meetings that was very public. I had one, and I was very open and transparent about that, unlike Justin Trudeau, who continues to refuse to answer for the 50 or so meetings that his staff had. But the question is not whether or not a politician believes that a deferred prosecution agreement is appropriate or not. Politicians don't get to determine court outcomes. We leave that in the hands of prosecutors and judges. We don't want to live in the kind of country where Prime Minister's and elected officials' opinion on what should come out in a court process becomes the law of the land. That is a very dark and dangerous path. This is a pattern with Liberal governments. They get into office and they start abusing the power that they've been entrusted with, and then they start proposing new solutions to solve their own problems. We saw this with the Cash for Access scandal, where only Liberals were doing this type of fundraising. Then they changed the rules. Now, because of their own scandal, they're saying that they need to be saved from themselves by splitting off these positions. Previous Conservative governments have not had to have that problem because we haven't interfered in criminal court cases. And so we'll wait and see what some of the discussions lead to. But again, it's frustrating for me to see, after 4 weeks of denying that anything improper happened, now he's going to propose a solution to solve his own problem, and he expects to be patted on the back for that. It would have been far better had he just done what other prime ministers have done, and that is respect the independence of our court proceedings.